Hey there, I'm Brandon. This is the Dirt Church Devotional. So the other day I'm reading through in my devotions through the book of Ezekiel. I get to Ezekiel chapter 37, and it is a great chapter. I mean, it's pretty wild. In that chapter, God gives Ezekiel a vision of this valley, and it's full of dry bones. I mean, he's standing there among all these dry bones, and Ezekiel says they were very, very dry. And the Lord asked him, he says, Ezekiel, what do you see? He said, well, I see a bunch of dry bones. And the Lord asked me, he says, Ezekiel, can these bones live again? And Ezekiel's response is, Lord, you know. And so God tells him to prophesy to the bones and prophesy to the wind and the spirit. And he does. And the bones come together. And then there's muscle and sinew and skin. And then he's left standing among a bunch of dead bodies. Now pause right there and fast forward a few hundred years to Mark chapter 8. Mark chapter 8, Jesus is in Bethsaida, and people bring to him a blind man, and he takes the blind man aside, and he spits, and he makes some mud, and puts it on his eyes, and he asks the man, he says, what do you see? And the man says, well, I see people, but they look like trees walking around. Now, let's pause for just a second. There's some really great similarities, and there's some obvious differences, but get this. In both instances, number one, God asked, what do you see? It was difficult, it was impossible situations. In both situations, in both instances, there was only a partial miracle at first. And so in both situations, these men were faced with a question: do I continue or do I stop? Do I accept what I've got as this is pretty cool, or do I keep moving forward? Well, with Ezekiel, the Lord said to him, hey, prophesy again. He had to coach him a little bit. Don't stop here. I told you it was going to come to life. Prophesy again. And he did. And the Spirit of God sent the Spirit of life into all of these people, and they rose up like a mighty army. In the situation, Mark chapter 8, Jesus asked the guy, what do you see? And he says, well, I see people that look like trees. He didn't stop there. He could have settled for it, but he didn't. And the Lord touched him again and restored his sight completely. Now, what's the point in all this? What am I getting at? You know what? Sometimes God's got a call. He's got a purpose. He's got a plan for your life. And he calls to you and he asks you, what do you see? And you got to be honest about what you see. And it may not come together completely at the first time. Just because God called you, just because God breathed something into you, doesn't mean that it's all going to happen at once. You still have to activate faith. Maybe you've approached the Lord with a need, like the blind man. You've approached the Lord with a need, and it partially happens. Now you're faced with the decision. Do I settle for partial? Do I settle for good? Or do I push in, press in for more? Let me challenge you, no matter what your situation is, whether God has called you and placed a burden, a dream, a challenge on your heart, or you have a need and you've approached the Lord, and you find yourself at a partial blessing either way, at a partial answer either way. Let me challenge you. Press in. Go again. Ask again. Speak again. Pray again. Believe again. And just wait and see. God is faithful, and he will fulfill his word. You chew on that. We'll talk to you next time.